Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone, to Women Who Really Rock. I'm your host, Carmen Milagro. Women Who Really Rock is designed to showcase women and artists and people that are supporting them in the work that they're doing all around the globe. It's about positivity and positive vibes. Our show is available on the Divas That Care network, and you'll find us on the Divas That Care website, which is divasthatcare.com. Joining me today on Women Who Really Rock is Kerry Adams Hapner, a keeper of the arts. She's the Director of Cultural Affairs for the City of San Jose. She leads the Office of Cultural Affairs. Her portfolio includes public art, creative placemaking, special events, cultural funding, convention, and cultural facility management. She wears many, many hats. She also writes and speaks at national conferences on a wide range of topics, from creative placemaking to cultural development to art and technology. And from 2013 to 2016, she served as the chair of the United States Urban Arts Federation and has served on the executive committee since 2010. She's a recent graduate. She's a mom, and she's a friend to me. Welcome, Kerry, and thank you for joining us today on Women Who Really Rock.
Wow, thank you, Carmen. That was such a gracious introduction. But I have to say, I really love that title you gave me, Keeper of the Arts.
Well, good. It's yours to use.
Thank you.
Because I know you, right? But I do know you on a personal level, and so I am, that's how I see the work that you're doing and how you're keeping the arts and everything, alive and in people's consciousness, especially in San Jose. I know that in 2014 and 2015, Kerry, you were named one of the most powerful, sorry about the background noise, you were named one of the most powerful and influential leaders in the United States nonprofit arts sector in Barry's blog, and it was published by the Western States Arts Federation. So let's start with this. As the Director of Cultural Affairs, specifically, what does a Director of Cultural Affairs do?
Thank you. I think that's a great question. So when we talk about cultural affairs, it's really about the arts and culture and how you can integrate that into the everyday lives of residents and visitors to your city. Also, we look at the arts in a number of different ways. They have an economic development benefit, but they also have a human and community development benefit. So we look at how we can kind of bring people together, how you can foster cross-cultural understandings in a very diverse city like San Jose, and also, what are the economic benefits to a city when you have a thriving art scene? It's all of those things. So I really look at my work at the nexus of cultural development, economic development, and community development. And so we do that through a number of different ways. Like we have different programs, like a public art program. We help produce special events, things that are outside, placemaking. We also permit major festivals that are taking place outside. We also have major investments in the arts sector through grants. So those are some of the ways in which we make sure that the arts are thriving in this city.
That's pretty important work, and like I said, you are a keeper of the arts. I know that there's a couple other programs. I mean, you do so much work, but let's focus a little bit on three specific programs. You've got your We Create, your Make Music Day, and City Dance, which I have to say, City Dance is very dear to my heart. And if you could tell us a little bit about what you do specifically with those programs, maybe it'll inspire some other folks in other cities to take on this, this sort of idea.
Sure, absolutely. So these are all part of a larger initiative in which we're really looking to foster creative self-expression with our residents through these types of programs. So each of these programs really have a very participatory element to them. And this all started about 5 years ago. San Jose was the pilot city on behalf of the state of California in a national initiative called Creating Connection. And what we did is through qualitative and quantitative research, we literally had the focus groups with, you're standing behind a mirror and somebody's asking questions, everything from that to, surveys. But what we learned is, what do people care about? What are their closely held existing values? And how do the arts relate to those closely held existing values? And what we found out is what people care about is their health and well-being. They care about their family and their friends and having a sense of connection. And so we think about the arts as that through opportunities for creative self-expression, people are able to connect with themselves, their friends and family, and this community, this city, and really give themselves voice. And those are all directly tied to people's value systems. And so what we've been doing over the last 5 years is doing a bit of a pivot in that rather than kind of talking about presenting, world-class artists, we do that too, but we're also kind of transitioning it that what is the experience that you have as an individual when you're going to those types of events? And then how do you integrate creativity into your own lives on a daily basis? So, for example, City Dance is an 8-week series in which it's free and it's in our downtown core. And literally we have a dance instructor and with a great band, and they're learning a different and presenting a different genre. And people come every week and they're learning salsa, or they're learning K-pop, or they're learning how to dance to Bollywood. It's a blast, but it's also very expressive. My favorite night was Vogue. I'll just let you know. You have to come down for that.
I do.
And then Make Music Day is a new program that we started about 2 years ago. And essentially it's on the summer solstice. It's always going to be on June 21st. And Make Music Day is actually an international network of cities around the globe that present music-making programs on this day. And so essentially what it is that anybody can host a venue, can host an artist, and we basically encourage people across the city to make music. And so we literally have, we kind of host it, we help facilitate it. There's a website people can sign up and promote. So you have music in the malls, you have music in libraries, you have music in parks, you have music in, in different businesses. So it's really focused on how do you foster a sense of creativity in the everyday lives of people. And so right now,
participation, right?
Exactly, active participation. So, and what that does in turn is give you a sense of value about the importance of the arts. It kind of helps raise and generate public will for the arts and culture in their city. And that's all part of what we're looking to do, is kind of elevate the value of the arts in our everyday lives. So people are going to have a deeper demand. They're going to want to do more. And that in turn helps support our entire arts ecosystem.
And it gets people out into the community.
Exactly, and it gets them to also really have a sense of civic pride. So we right now have what we're calling a virtual creativity festival happening right now in San Jose. It is right now the month of October, and what we've done is we have 31 partners, and every single day there's a creativity challenge. And it's called We Create 408. And so every day we prompt people to say, what's your favorite cultural tradition, for example? That was yesterday's challenge. And people, they post on social media, they hashtag We Create 408, and they're posting what it is that they love, what are the traditions. And it can be we're taking a very holistic perspective related to the arts and culture. So some people might talk about their cultural tradition in terms of dance. Someone else posted about baking, that they have, baking is very creative. So we're really looking about how creativity is infused in every single thing that we do every day.
Right. I think that's so incredible, and it's so important because we have lost some of that used to be, in the way that I was brought up in the public school system, we had all of this as part of our curriculum. And so I feel like we have lost it as adults because there's a whole generation of children that didn't have it as they were growing up. And so by the time you're an adult, you just aren't anchored in it anymore. And maybe that's a whole other show that we need to do on that topic alone. But that's kind of how, as an artist myself, that's how I see it. I see that it's such a missing component. So the fact that you are doing all these programs and you're implementing this in San Jose, and you're the keeper of the arts for San Jose, I just think that what you do is so important. And from my perspective, I just want to say thank you, because you are, in my opinion, you're changing people's lives and adding a quality that maybe they didn't even know that they were missing.
That is very kind and generous, and thank you. It is such a rewarding, position to be in. I happen to be from San Jose. I haven't lived here my whole life. I actually moved away for 18 years and came back for this job, and it's just so rewarding to see how the city is evolving and how you can shape it through the arts, because that's what people want. It gives it that sense of authentic, unique character that makes people proud of where they live and makes people want to live there or visit it.
Yeah.
And so those are all the things that I'm so excited that we're able to do. And it's not just the city, but, we have a whole network of partners across the city that are really helping to shape it and really, like I said, build bridges between people. And that's what we need more now than ever.
Absolutely. And, speaking of, let's talk about a little bit about some of those bridges, or one of those bridges, because, when it comes to public art, you have also a partnership. You created this, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're taking art from the Playa to Paseo, and that's a partnership between San Jose and Burning Man. So would people be surprised to learn that you've gone to Burning Man, and how many times you've been to Burning Man, and that you've been able to bring this to the city of San Jose? Or did they just assume you were going to do that?
No, I don't think anybody, I didn't assume it or know I was going to do it either. It's really been, it's a very unique partnership that we're very proud of and very grateful for. But essentially, a colleague of mine who ran the New Orleans Arts Council, her name is Kim Cook. She took a new job at Burning Man Project as a director of art and civic engagement, and she told me about it. And when I was like, oh, I always wanted to go. That just sounds like a great job. Congratulations. And then she encouraged me to go. And I will say, I've worked in the field of public art for 2 decades now. I was blown away. I was blown away by the quality of the work, the scale of the work, the artistry was just, and the fact that it goes up in a week and it's there for a week and then it either gets burned or it comes down. And I just, somebody that works on projects that literally take, years, I was just kind of blown away. And so I had this idea of bringing the work that was created for the Playa to our downtown, our paseos and city, the city of San Jose. It could be, parks and different areas. And so I approached my who's now my partner, Kim, and she was very receptive to this. And we really co-created this program. And the program is really designed to be interactive. We want to present works to the public that's going to engage them, it's going to stimulate them, and that they can, have some type of interaction with the work as well. So we launched it with a really fantastic project called Sonic Runway, which is a light installation. We had it here at City Hall, and basically it projects the speed of sound through what are essentially kind of large rings that are illuminated, and you can walk through, and it has music playing, and you can see how, through the speed of sound, the music travels down this artwork. And what we did is we invited artists from, award-winning artists to, acclaimed local artists to come and perform the runway. So they were able to see their music, whether they were drumming or singing or whatever it was, they were able to see how it would travel. And it was just an incredible project. We're really happy that it was a short-term installation, but we're bringing it back. It was just so popular.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have you come down for the opening.
I would love it. I would love to. I wanted to make sure that we also touch a little bit more on the personal side of what you do. And if you could tell us a little bit, you're a recent graduate from Stanford, so congratulations. Very proud of you. It's no small feat because you're a mom, you're working full time, you're going to school, you're a wife, and I would love for you to share at least a little bit before we start wrapping it up. But if you could tell our listeners a little bit about your thesis, why this is so important, especially in our current, social and political climate, why you believe that this work is so important.
Thank you. Yeah, so a little over 4 years ago, I was accepted into the Stanford Master in Liberal Arts program, which is essentially an interdisciplinary program that weaves different subject matters, whether it's social science, philosophy, the humanities, the arts. It's very interdisciplinary, environmental studies, and out of that, you really create a much more comprehensive kind of holistic view of scholarship. And you really weave those interdisciplinary elements into your arguments and your work. And so you develop a thesis topic, and mine is a work of public art, which is a case study. It's located here in San Jose in the middle of our downtown at Plaza de Cesar Chavez, and it's called Plumed Serpent. It's also known as Quetzalcoatl. And Quetzalcoatl was created in response to another public art controversy, which was the creation of the Fallon statue, which showed Captain Thomas Fallon on horseback sticking the flag in the ground during the Mexican-American War. And so what happened in response to this work, the Mexican-American community protested it because they saw it as a sign of oppression. And so essentially the city commissioned a series of public art projects that told the histories of San Jose. So multiple perspectives. And Plumed Serpent was created out of that. However, it created its own set of controversies. It became sort of protested by the conservative Christian right, as they saw it as a religious sculpture, not a First Amendment violation, is not a separation of church and state.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there was a lawsuit, there were prayer vigils around the work. And then also over time, as it got sort of unveiled, it became criticized for aesthetic purposes or for funding. And so the whole thesis is about how works of public art, often it's not the work itself that's controversial, but it's the social issues surrounding the work that are controversial, right? So you have the culture wars, you have the right-wing Christian groups, sort of wanting to take their country back and have a more of a very Christian conservative culture. And then you have progressives, so this was about 25 years ago. But what happens over time is, when you have sort of defamatory rhetoric around a work of art that's aimed to honor Mexican culture, you start to develop sort of a normalization of racist rhetoric. And so that's really what I'm trying to get at, is that we don't want to normalize or make it okay to make fun of something that honors a culture. And so it was created by an artist named Robert Graham, who is one of the great artists of his time. He also did the FDR Memorial in Washington, D.C., and he really aimed to do his best work because he lived in San Jose. His family lived here. And so it's just a really important story, and I'm really proud to be able to, kind of hope to debunk a lot of the urban legends surrounding the work and really talk about how rhetoric in our culture really steeps into the minds of people, and that we need to be responsible about how we talk about things and be informed before we feel like it's just okay to make a joke about something that is aimed to honor a specific cultural group.
Right. And it does tie it all together, right, about being respectful and honoring. And, for me on a personal level, it's the whole idea that as an artist, we have the right to express ourselves. And not everyone, we know that as an artist. I hope most artists know, not everyone is going to love your music or your lyrics or your painting, but we still have the right to create this art. And I'm just kind of breaking it down into a very simple statement, but all of what you've just said, in my opinion and the way that I feel, is if we're not careful, if we don't have guardians like yourself, that do help the artist be who they are on a fundamental level, I think we would be very lost.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think also you bring up a really good point, and it's about interpretation and different people's perspectives. And it's true, not everybody's going to, love everything. And if they did, you may not be actually getting the best work.
Right.
That's kind of a reality when you're working in public art. But at the same
Exactly.
time, you also have to recognize that the artists are putting something out into the community. It's for the public, and it's part of their legacy too, so they really are aiming to do their best work.
Absolutely. And with that, I think, this is part of why I'm doing these podcasts, is because I want to be able to, as much as I can, showcase people who are doing the great work, that are trying to bring people together versus tearing them apart. So we do have to wrap it up, but I just wanted to say from just a very special place in my heart that I have for you, I admire so much what you do, Kerry, and I probably don't say it as often, but I just think that if every city had a Kerry, we would be so much better off.
Oh, that is very kind of you. And right back at you, Carmen. I'm just a mirror, because you are a force of nature, and you have so much energy, and everything you do is positive and thoughtful and deliberate, and you, too, bring people together. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. And I hope that you and I can do this again, and we can dive a little bit deeper. And I would love it if you would maybe in 2020 just come back and do another round with me.
It would be a pleasure.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. I know we have to say goodbye, but again, this is a very special interview, and I'm so honored that you were able to spend some time with us. We want you to just have this beautiful rest of the day, and remember us fondly until the next time. Thank you for joining us, Kerry. Thank you for being on Women Who Really Rock. You really are a woman who really rocks. You're an educator. You're this incredible human being, and I just want to say thank you again.
You rock, Carmen. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for everyone, all our listeners that tune in to our Women Who Really Rock podcast series. We want to help educate and uplift and inspire you while we are supporting others who are doing their good work. And until next time, I hope you are all really rocking it too. Remember, you can find us here on the Divas That Care Network, and this website is www.divasthatcare.com. Thank you, Kerry. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.